I wanted to bring up something mental health related on our mental health adjacent podcast.
Kind of a loser mentality, but okay.
Earlier in our conversation, I try to be present. I try to, be in the moment and talk to my friend, and cameras are witnessing that. But then I remembered that after the podcast today, I have plans with someone, and I think I will enjoy those plans. But all I really want to do is play RuneScape. And I got psychic damage thinking about the fact that I have to do something other than exactly what I want to do.
Oh yeah.
I sometimes wish I could enter a time void where I get all of my hyperfocuses out so that I don't have to like shelve my real human relationships while I hyperfocus on something.
Yeah, they shouldn't exist in the same realm.
It's like object permanence. Like
you know when you're on like the East Coast and everyone else is asleep back home for a few hours, and you're like, well, this is when I do it. Right now is when I do all the stuff that is only me in the world.
That is the best. I mean, I usually wake up pretty early on podcast days and just like zone out like in the mornings, and I need that like me time. When I am in a little like hyper focus moment where it's really hard to do anything else, I always go back to like my mom telling me to clean my room when I was a kid, and the changing of activity was so difficult.
Yes.
And I've learned a thing with ADHD where just like shifting activities can be very difficult.
The noise in between the activities is like loud static.
Yeah, it's like really hard it's like entering a portal where it like hurts me to do it. And so I usually have to stick to my schedule, or I have to emotionally prepare. Like I've had something akin to panic attacks, and okay, I don't know if it's a panic attack.
You don't want a stolen valor, but as
I don't
far
want a
as you
stolen
can
valor,
tell.
but I've had elevated panic and freak out moments when like Anastasia has told me that we have to do something and it like didn't make it to the calendar, and I'd be like, well, that's not, I don't freak out at Anastasia, but like I have a little personal thing where I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
Speaking to God.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I can go to that meeting because I wasn't prepared. Like one time it was a dinner and it wasn't on my calendar, and it was that night, and I canceled the dinner because I emotionally wasn't prepared. And I want, and I have in instances described this to other people because I don't want to go too deep into like the annals of my mental illness, but I have described this to people.
Yeah, we leave that for publishing.
Yeah, exactly. I leave it for the online. I've described it to people as I'm not feeling well.
Sure.
And I'm like, am I lying? But it almost feels like I'm doing the thing where I'm not treating, because mental illness is invisible, I'm not validating my own idiosyncrasies in my own brain.
But to be fair, like we can spend as much time as we want learning and relearning and reconditioning ourselves to be comfortable with forgiving ourselves for our mental hiccups and saying out loud, mental health is real health, blah, 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 blah. But not only do you have to kind of re-up that for yourself, and if you're feeling low, it's harder than ever.
Mental health to dental health, IQ to skincare.
That kind of thing. You also do have to account for the third party. Like, because, hey, they could agree, but also could be having a day where they're a little biased against it and saying, yeah, but is it even real? Doubting myself. Like, it is not, actually, especially when it's not someone you know especially well, it's not impossible that the first time I'm meeting up with an acquaintance for a one-on-one coffee, like becoming a friend, and I cancel for that reason, it's not impossible that they don't believe me or that they see skepticism in that because I don't know them well enough.
Yeah, but I think that when you don't know someone well enough, in my experience, they give more of the benefit of the doubt. And I think when you know someone well, they give more of the benefit of the doubt. And I actually think no one cares.
Yes, the reality is.
But
nor does it matter if they do. That's like a kind of...
That's more on them. I had become like a serial flaker, and I tried to put the kibosh on that this year, where if I commit to something, I will go and I'll like hype myself up to do it, or I'll do whatever I need to do to get myself there. Just because I do respect someone, I try to respect someone else's time as I would want them to respect mine. But there are instances of like increased panic and anxiety that I have to cancel Like, I remember one example, we've now done the thing, but it did take some months. So a while back, I was supposed to go on, I've been on our good friend Zach from the Try Guys with Kelsey and Garrick. They have a podcast. Kelsey Dara, Garrick Bernard have a podcast called Guilty Pleasures, formerly produced by Miles Bonsignore.
Whoa, forget about it.
That podcast, they like review like guilty pleasure movies and stuff. And they've had me on for their High School Musical episodes. And it was coming time to do High School Musical 3. This is a couple months ago. I remember being at my computer. I have no clue what I was doing. I had this like crazy anxiety that, and this is like a more extreme version of what I'm describing. And I had to basically cancel. Well, no. I was like,
this relates to the panic attack question mark.
Yeah, panic attack question mark. I texted Zach and I'm like, yo, I'm feeling not great, but I can rally, is basically what I said. Zach, who's a gem of a person, like kind of bailed me out and said, hey, I actually have some shit going on too. So let's just bail and reschedule. And so it's kind of, we both kind of mutually agreed to reschedule. And so like that felt like the best case scenario.
That's a gift.
And then that is 100% of a gift. And so, and it's a gift I offer to other people when they are feeling that overwhelm. Like
that's God's like finger coming down and me catching it like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank you.
It's so like much. The mental health stuff. And also the like, sometimes, you know, when someone's like, I've got to work or I've got to catch up on work or something like that, a lot of times that's not like, usually it's not like your boss breathing down your neck or something. A lot of times it's like you feel an anxiety about your own progress and where you feel like you should be. And you want to like right that ship. And that's also valid.
It's a little bit of a dilemma because sure, they could happen to be a person where that, you know, some people feel like it reflects on the quality of the friendship. Some people don't. It's not a thing where I feel hurt. If somebody has to move something, I'm assuming the best, but some people do. And that's completely understandable as long as they're not like acting on it in a inconsiderate way. But there's no screening for that, and you don't know how someone else feels about something. And ultimately I think it is kind of a nice litmus test of a good friendship. I mean, we've talked about this infinite number of times, but like we both have a history, a regular couple cornflakes, and spent this year and a chunk of last trying specifically to address that. And I think the shifting gears, the momentum change that you mentioned that's the thing. That's like, there's, you know, chronic fatigue plays a part. Lifestyle plays a part. There's a lot of contributors. But that shift from zero to hero, that's the work. Like that, it honestly, me and Peeps were going to something, we were meeting up and then going to something on the same day as the podcast. So podcast wraps up, Peeps give me a ride, we go get some food. Each of us go home and then we're like texting, like, are we doing this thing? I don't know. And then do we have the juice? And then we, funnily enough, on the drive back, because they've been, I won't give too much information about what they've been looking into, but they've been exploring some of these things, right? Like some similar, like, now that they live here and they have this kind of work routine, when they're crashing, why are they crashing? And how does that work? What part is physical? What part is psychological? What's contributing to both?
Learning thyself.
Which is an important step and should be an ongoing step. But I think as life goes on, you can get a little more complacent. So they're in their bag right now. And we were talking about it. I said similar to this, it is just the gear shift. And it's not that the car's out of fuel. It's not that the car doesn't work, but revving up again, like actually getting the momentum again, is by far the hardest part. That first push on the pedal, and then, hey man, you might get it going, go to the thing, and totally burn out.
And sometimes I do. I have a new reputation for not flaking, but also not hanging around at the party for too long.
And fighting
anyone I can find. Kicking,
spinning. A lot of the time you're walking, spinning both your arms.
I would actually say that Peeps is one of the people I flaked on the most. I don't feel great about it, but at the same time, we share an understanding, and I think that it hasn't hurt our friendship or our working relationship or anything, and I really appreciate them for that.
They're innately very, not in a naive way, in a like informed and genuinely kind way. They're very like first order assumption is never malice for them. It is always like very generous, I guess.
Generous, because I mean it goes both ways, because we were both trying to schedule something recently And it's like a thing that's fun for friends to do. You know, we're going to like organize some of my Pokemon cards. We're going to look up some stuff. And it's a thing that Peeps like has literally volunteered at card shops to organize. And I was like, oh, well, we could do this thing together and it would be really fun. And it would. And it would also help me do something too. And we were both
a little bit of cohabitating.
Yeah, we were both doing this like, oh, hey, can we do this time? Oh, hey, I have to go do this thing at this time. And so we like, and then now they're out of town, so they're not here today. We kept missing each other, but at no point, like when they had to move it, they were apologetic. And I was like, no. That's not how this works. Like,
I suck.
I apologize. No, it's like we're both in friendship. There is like a give and take. I know that like I've done things for Peeps where, you know, something wasn't asked or something was appreciated. And it's not a tit for tat thing, but it is a, like, you know where your friend's heart is at. And sure, that can be frustrating from time to time, but if you like go forth with, it's not an expectation of malice or that someone is acting maliciously. Cause I've definitely known people who like do kind of take that perspective of like, everything is a slight against me.
You can challenge yourself and work on that and find methods to go around it. Because it is just like, you have to choose to be a little bit more generous. I know people who have like an instinct for that feeling. Very good friends of mine who earlier on in the friendship, I would pull away from something or say like, oh, I can't do so-and-so, blah, blah. And then we would have like a candid conversation after it happened once or twice where they're just like, I just want to check, like, is this weird? Or they would say like, do you just want to hang out less or something? I'm like, no, I genuinely promise on my life, it is conditional and outside of you, and it shouldn't reflect on our friendship or like the connection we're cultivating. Mm-hmm. And from then on, it became like that kind of gave them the tool set to say, okay, great, that instinct, I won't trust this time right now.